Alright, what's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the TMossBoss Show. Then today's episode, so I know that this is probably going to upset some people out there when it comes to, more so it's going to probably be video game developers. I don't see how somebody, especially if you're in the same position as me, where you buy a lot of different video games, and the game ends up not being good, and it's like, dang, bro, like, I just wasted my money on this game and I can't get my money back, especially if you buy the game digitally. Then if it's like you buy a physical copy of the game, it's like, yeah, you could get some of your money back, but still, it's like there's a part of my money that's gone, so it's like you're stuck like in a conflicting area with gaming. But it's like, that's the thing though with gaming, is that it shouldn't be a idea to, ask for my money back or trade the game in to GameStops, I guess. If a game is good, then it's like, and that's one thing that I sadly had learned, over the years, is that video games right now are not good. The fact that I had to go out, find this retro game store, because there was a couple of retro game stores that I had was kind of, one I had only went to one time. I don't know what had happened. I hope the couple that worked there, because it was an old couple, and I hope they all right, but I don't know, maybe they might have retired or something. But anyways, I remember I went there, they had a gang of games in there, and it was retro games too, and I was like, man, if I think that, because they had like a lot of different games, I was like, I think if that place was still open, I probably would have been. I've been going back and forth between that store and the other store that I'd be shopping at. But no, overall though, it's like, that's one thing that I learned, was that the games that I played back then were a lot better. If not, they were pretty much some of the best video games of all time. And I look at the video games now, where it's like, you don't even get to play these games until 2-3 years later down the road, after, oh yeah, we finally released all the updates, we're going to start working on part 2. And I'm like, bruh, if that was the case, you should just release the game 2-3 years later. So my thing is this though, because what trips me out is that you'll see games like that where it's all like 2-3 years down the road, that's when they finally come out. But Steam, Xbox, I believe Epic Games, I'm trying to think of some other companies out there, they pretty much have this 2-hour and 2-week window. PlayStation doesn't even have a 2-hour, 2-week window. I think they do, but that's if you, no, they only have like a 2-week window. They don't have the 2-hour thing, because once when you start up the game is yours. So like, let's just say you buy a game where let's say, yeah, nobody's playing it online. Let's say it's a really old video game, nobody's playing it online, but you paid $59.99 for it because the developers didn't want to lower the price. So you just wasted your money on this game and ain't nobody playing it, and it's an online only game. Or it might be on some stuff where it's like kind of like whatchamacallit, The Crew, the very first Crew game by Ubisoft, where you paid full price for that game, but the developers shut the game down. Now that's pretty much money just gone. Like you pretty much took $60 something and just flushed it down the toilet and stuff. So overall, though, that's why I wanted to do this podcast episode, and just pretty much let those companies know, especially PlayStation, because I'm like, I don't know what PlayStation's deal is, but 2 hours in 2 weeks ain't enough. Because if you put this in perspective of a movie or something, right? So, and I know people will probably be all like, oh, it's like movies, that might not be a good example. No, just hear me out. So you go see a movie. You're not going to just watch like 2-3 minutes of that movie and then just be like, oh, okay, I want unless like, I don't know, like it might be the wrong movie or something. But other than that, it's like, no, you need to actually watch the movie to have like a better understanding of whether you're going to like this movie or not. Now with a video game, they don't have it set up that way where you're going to see everything that you need to see within the first 2 hours and 2 weeks of you owning the game. No, they going to have it where that stuff, no, that's what some video games do, because there's the one video game, Assetto Corsa Evo. That's a video game that I'm stuck with, because the developers, they want to come out with updates years later and stuff. But they released this game, I think Assetto Corsa Evo, that game came out in 2024, I believe. Hold on for a second, let me look it up real quick. They released this game, actually no, beginning of last year. Okay, so it was a year ago. So they released this game a year ago, said that at the end of the year they were going to have all these different updates with the game. They were going to have this open world area. I think they were going to add more cars. They were going to do a lot more to this game. They didn't do none of that. They didn't start working on that stuff until this year because they thought it was a smart idea to come out with a video game while they were in development of another video game. Now, I don't know if it was like multiple teams working on each video games, but my thing is this. You should have worked on the one video game first and then worked on the other video game afterwards, but having it where it's like, okay, I'm stuck with this game and then the updates and all that stuff. Like Assetto Corsa Evo, if I could keep it a buck with you guys, that's not a good racing game. It's a game where I think they tried to, it's like they're wanting to compete with Gran Turismo, but I'm like, if Gran Turismo, the same day, because they say that game came out on January 16th, let's just say if PlayStation wanted to release Gran Turismo on PC, that Assetto Corsa, I don't think nobody would have played Evo, because everybody had been playing Gran Turismo. There's like, oh, I get to, now there's like mod support and all these other different things I could do in the game. Like, I think a lot of people would like that. They would like for Assetto Corsa, or not Assetto Corsa, but Gran Turismo 7 or any of the Gran Turismo games. Let's see if they were coming out with a new one. If they announced that it was coming out on PC, it definitely will put Assetto Corsa on some skates. Because, that was like Evo, that was not a good game at all. But that's a game that I'm stuck with because it's been beyond that 2-hour and 2-week window. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, man, I really do wish that they had it set up where at least like on Steam, where if the game fully comes out and if you don't like it, then you could get your money back for it. But no, it's like they want to be on some stuff where it's like, nope, when it's beyond them 2 weeks, then game's yours. And if you haven't played it more than 2 hours, and it's like there's a lot of the times like and that's the one video game that I'm like it takes you more than 2 hours to play that game. Like you can't play that game and do everything you need to do in 2 hours. But there's this video game called X4 Foundations. Now I did get that game off of one of those Steam key websites. But I remember at one point in time, I did buy it on Steam. And I was like, luckily, I did get it off of one of those Steam key websites and got it on sale. Because if I would have paid full price for that game, it's definitely something where I'm like, nah, Steam, I don't care how long it's been. That game is unplayable. When I play, because it's supposed to be this quote unquote space sim and stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, not one of those developers have ever been to space. Hold on for a second. Let's just maybe look it up. Maybe I could be wrong, but has any of the developers for X4 Foundation ever been to space? Let's just see. Based on, so this is just the AI answer that Google gives out, but there's based on available information, there is no evidence that any of the developers at EgoSoft, the German team behind X4 Foundations, have been to space. The team focuses on creating a deeply simulated virtual universe rather than simulating space flight based on personal physical experiences. So overall, no, they haven't, they've never been to space. So my thing is this: how can you come out with a space video game or this universal or universe video game and stuff, and you ain't never, the most that you guys ever been to is any place on planet Earth? So that's why I'm like, it trips me out where it's like you see stuff like that and you see them go all deep in depth versus having it where it's like, okay, we know that there's going to be people playing this game for the first time. They're not going to know what they're doing. So why not have it set up where the tutorial part of the game is free? Then if you want to play the full, do the missions and all that other stuff, that's the stuff that you had to buy. Because I had to say I spent more time playing the tutorials in X4 Foundations than actually playing the game. Fam, that's not gaming. That's not fun. And it's funny because people, they always try to get on me about it. And it's like, okay, the way that you guys sit around and defend this game, you would think that would be a sign for me to go and start the game back up and give it another chance and play and all that stuff. When the fans of that game, because they do have some hardcore fans and stuff. They have some fans where it's like, no, anytime they do see somebody talking badly about the game, they got to jump to the game's defense. And I'm thinking to myself, there are all these other different space games out there, and I wanted to talk on that too, almost, because there was a podcast episode that I was going to record and I completely forgot. But no, it's funny how with games like that. And then there's other funner games like No Man's Sky, for an example. I had to say that, in my opinion, that was probably the best space game that I've ever played. Was No Man's Sky, because for one, they have it set up where when you're trying to do something in that game, and even if you're doing it for the 100th time and stuff, they always have a tutorial built into the game, more so like the story part of the game. So there's never no like situation where you're just blindly doing stuff. No, they tell you, all right, press this button, gather this material, go to this planet. Here's a GPS, like a tracker thing to let you know where exactly you need to go and things. X4 Foundation, none of that. I remember there was a time where I was playing that game and they had it where I had to like travel to a different area in the game, and they didn't have like no GPS thing. So it just, to me, it really trips me out when I have this bad experience with the game and I'm like, fam, I want my money back. Like, and let's just say if I did buy that game off of Steam, I'm like, yeah, if it had been beyond two hours and 2 weeks, I wouldn't be able to get my money back. And that's the thing, because people, they like to make it seem like that I'm running a scam with the developers. I'm like, no, the developers are running a scam with people. I feel the only people that'll say some stuff like that, they have to be either the developers themselves or friends of the developers, or they're super fans where they think, oh, if I say this stuff, the developers is gonna be on my side and stuff. And it's like, nah, bro, because I guarantee and I promise you, if the developers went out and bought a video game and it was the same situation, they definitely would be talking about it. But when it's them, it's okay. And it's stuff like that I can't stand. I'm like, I can't stand where it's like, oh, it's okay for you, but it's bad when it's everybody else. Nah. I'm like, if you guys is gonna come out with a video game, you need to make a video game for everybody. It's like, it ain't gonna only be a certain group of people that's just gonna be playing your game. It's gonna be a lot of different people playing your games. But it's like, what sense would that make to have it set up where the game, it's gonna take you more than 2 hours and 2 weeks to play it? Because let's just see the amount of hours people done put into that game. Hold on, because I do have Steam open, but the money that they ask for that game too, like, so they have it where if you want to just get the game itself, it's $49.99. Then there's the Discovery Pack, where I guess it comes with a timeline DLC, where I guess I think that might be, yeah, that's also $49.99, because they don't have like no sale thing next to it. But then they have like this, I guess if you buy the game, then it's like 20% off, and it's like you get this Community of the Planets, where it's some of these other DLCs, and that's $59.99. Then they have one where it's Community of the Planets Collector's Edition, where if you own the game, then it knocks 20% off, and then it's $111.88. Then I think they do have some like other DLCs and stuff like that. But overall, though, yeah, let's see how many hours people have been dumping into this game. So the first person, he put 100. This is the most helpful review section. He put 197 hours into this game. The person that just recently posted a review for this game ain't got nothing. 505 hours. And you know what's so crazy about it? Is that you spend more time in the tutorial figuring out. Because, like, most people, when you become like a gamer and stuff, I guess like for somebody that's not a gamer, when you become a gamer, you don't just play just one video game. No, that I don't know, not one person that is a gamer that, like, yeah, I guess there might be people where it's like they might find that one video game that they like and that's the only game that they play. That's rare, super rare, all right? But a gamer, somebody that you've been playing video games for some years and stuff, somebody that you play video games every single day. I refuse to believe, even if you own just one console, you do not have just only one video game, especially because X4 Foundation, that's a PC game. So anybody that has a gaming PC, you're most likely going to have more than 100 games on your computer. So I'm supposed to remember all the controls, everything that I need to do for X4 Foundation. Let me just open up my Steam account real quick to just show you guys some of the games that I have installed. So Helldivers 2, that's a video game where it requires a little bit of button pressing. Jump Space, Skate, Destiny 2, The Division 1, Jurassic World Evolution, what else? Warframe, Damon X Machina, Titanic, Scion, either way, whatever it's called. Street Fighter 6. What are some? I mean, like, I wonder, do they have like a list to let you know all the different games I have? Hold on for a second. Let me just see something real quick. How many games I have? So it's over 700 games. Like, I have over 700 games on my Oh, actually, no, wait a minute. Let me see something real quick. I take that back. So it's not, they were adding like tools and stuff like that. No, so I only have, okay, so it's still a lot. It's over 600 games. So a person that I've played over 600 games, I'm supposed to somehow, some way remember everything that I need to remember about X4 Foundation. When the last time I played that game was back in, let's see real quick. X4 Foundation. Last time I played that game, I don't even think I actually was sitting down and playing it and stuff. Like, I think I just turned it on to see something real quick. But, no, actually, that's what it was. Because they have it where, I think it was right after they added the whole, like, build a ship thing in, No Man's Sky. Because I think they did say that they had something along those lines in, X4 Foundation. I think I remember I played that and I was like, yeah, no, I'll just continue playing No Man's Sky because it's what they got going on in X4 Foundation. I'm like, that's not normal. But anyways, they were saying that this game is Steam Deck verified. I just know anybody out there that gets a Steam Deck, and if it's a toss up between you, and that's so crazy about it too. So No Man's Sky. Well, X4 Foundation, that's $49.99. No Man's Sky, that game, they usually be having it on sale and stuff. But better ratings at that. But yeah, the game, they don't have like no DLCs or stuff that you have to pay for and things. And it's crazy because it's like the game, all the different stuff that they offer, it's like you would think that it's like, okay, no, that game is definitely going to be the more expensive game. When you look at X4, like if somebody were to show me X4 Foundation and No Man's Sky and be like, hey, so between these two games, which games do you think cost more? I definitely, if I had seen No Man's Sky, I'm like, no, yeah, No Man's Sky definitely had cost more. All them different planets, and then the planets keep regenerating. That game's probably like $1,000. And if somebody was all like, oh no, if you actually wait until like a sale, like a spring sale, summer sale, winter sale, whatever and stuff, fall sale, they have it where the game's like $20 and stuff. I'm like, yeah, no, that's I feel like that's a robbery almost. Like you shouldn't be able to, have that much fun with a game, and then on top of that, it's like you paying so less for it and things. So, but I guess like the backstory with No Man's Sky, that's why. But I'm like, I wish X4 Foundation would have had the same backstory. Having it where when their game came out, it wasn't all that good, and then eventually it just it got better. But overall, though, moving on from X4 Foundation, but no, I mean, there's like other games out there that I played where it's I have to ask for my money back, and that's the thing. Like, it never feels good doing it. Like, you obviously want to support the developers, but at the same time, it's like the developers have to come out with a video game that's playable. And there's at times where I'm playing video games, like there's this one like that mountain climbing game that came out a while ago, Peak, where it's like every time when I play that game, it's always an issue. They don't have no save option. The game will crash on you. And it's like the game is only really playable with friends. So it's like, how am I supposed to play that game? And it's like the game, it's unplayable. And I guess, that's a game that don't really cost all that much. But still, I'm like, I don't like buying games that don't work. So it's like, my thing is like, if that's I'm just overall the point that I'm trying to make is that 2 hours and 2 weeks ain't enough. Where you got some games out there where it's going to take you more than 2 hours and 2 weeks to play that game, or it's going to be a game where it's like, oh yeah, we'll release the game now, but then after them 2 hours and 2 weeks, then that's when we'll come out with some updates where it's like, oh, we're going to patch the color of the leaves. We're going to, have it where your character, we're going to, what do they call nerf? We're going to nerf some of the characters' weapons and armor and what they can do and stuff, just pretty much limiting people and giving them a reason to play. They put more hours into the game, and I find stuff like that like a scam, because I'm like, to me, that just don't make no sense. If you gonna come out with a video game got, and when you look back on PlayStation 2, unheard of. Like there is never a time where you play the game and then, you only had 2 hours and 2 weeks to know whether or not. No, the thing is this, like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, when that game came out, there's, at least for me, fam, I wasn't doing the missions. I was just driving around, just causing havoc. I was just causing straight up chaos in that game when I played when it very first came out. And that's the thing, like, you had so much fun with that game. that's a game where I'm like, yeah, because of the time and era that it came out in, I think that, yeah, maybe if San Andreas would have came out now, I don't think it would have been a bad game, but I think that it definitely, yeah, with Rockstar nowadays, it's like we probably would have never seen Grand Theft Auto San Andreas if they promised us that game. But either way, though, I'm like, but I think I would rather have that where it's like, yeah, you know, developers, they release the game later versus releasing it now, and then the game's not all that developed, and then it's like, okay, well, then they get pressured at that too to make it where the game is more developed. But yeah, it's just there's at times where there's some developers where I'm like, they just don't care about gaming, and then it's just that's I had to got a notification. But anyways, but yeah, it's like you overall see that with gaming nowadays that developers don't care, but it's like I'm supposed to give you guys my money and stuff, and then have it where it's like, oh, I'm waiting 2 hours and 2 weeks. No, that's one of those things that needs to change. My Xbox needs to change it. Steam needs to change it. Think Epic Games, they got like their 2 hour, 2 week window things. They need to change it. And PlayStation needs to have a it's one of those things. They don't need to have a 2 hour, 2 week window. Pretty much what I'm trying to say, that 2 hour and 2 week window stuff, it the overall needs to stop. It needs to be one of those things where they need to get rid of it, because no, developers, they 100% be taking advantage of gamers, because it doesn't make no sense to me. You make promises in a video game but you don't keep them, or it's like you come out with a video game, you say that all these different things is going to happen to it and stuff, and then then when it comes time to the game coming out, it's like, okay, we can understand if it's in like early access for a month or two and things, but eventually we're gonna have to start seeing some more content. If I'm not seeing content in this game until what, a year, 2, 3, 4 years later, that it's stuff like that where I'm like, yeah, those types of games, I'm gonna need my money back. But then it's like there's those good games where I am putting a lot of time and hours into it, where I'm like, okay, these games are good, but it's like they don't be charging no however much money and stuff. No, it's like they had, like I said, No Man's Sky, that game, it wasn't all that good when it very first came out, but eventually it did get to a point where they made up for it and stuff. So it's like if developers, if they do stuff like that, they make up for it and then not be charging, because like you see that at times, like, well, yeah, X4 Foundations, for an example, it's like that game, I think they did say that when that game came out, it wasn't good, but they instead of having it where it's like we're gonna make it more compatible with all players, we're just gonna add DLCs and pretty much get more money out of people. Yeah, no, I like I said, some developers, they be running a scam. So, but anyways, with that being said, I will talk to y'all later. Thank you guys for watching and or listening. Stay tuned for the next episode. Like, subscribe, viewing this on YouTube. Follow, subscribe, viewing this on the podcast streaming service. And peace.